Crapco wishes to acknowledge special thanks to our crack team of semi-literate volunteers who spent literally hours researching the life of Nancy Kathleen Bryan Kaplan and interviewing certain willing family members, teachers, and a friend to create this possible award-winning documentary. A special thanks to the warden of San Quentin State Prison, Comdale Psychiatric Hospital, Fresno, California, and the Lawyers R Us Company. Disclaimer: Crapco makes no claim nor accepts responsibility to the factual accuracy of this film.
Nancy Kathleen Bryan was quite young at birth and was the daughter of Norma and Edward Ted Bryan.
At the Bryans' country home they called Quaker Acres, young brother Dana welcomed sweet sister Nancy to the family.
Proud parents Norma and Ted almost immediately knew there was something very special about little Nancy.
Our intrepid investigators managed to pry some secret thoughts and wishes from the memories of Nancy's early childhood.
I must have been only 3 or 4 when I would dream I could fly. I asked Mommy if she would buy me some wings so I could fly like the birdies. I don't know why Mommy laughed, but basically she clipped my wings by telling me little girls can't buy wings or fly. And only angels are lucky in that department.
I thought my dolls were real and thought they came alive when I was asleep. I was never able to wake up and catch them, but I always wondered what did they do when I was asleep. In the morning, I was surprised they were all in the same exact spot I left them the day before.
Not every day brought fun and happiness for the little girl. One time little Nancy was confronted by a dastardly deed done by somebody trying to frame her for vandalism.
Mommy called the 3 of us to our playroom, and from the sound of her voice, somebody was in trouble. Mommy accused me of writing my name on the window curtains. It sure wasn't me, and I told Mommy it was not my handwriting. Terry was too young, so I knew it was Dana. Mommy made us write Nancy on a piece of paper, and Dana deliberately wrote my name badly, so I got blamed. Dana finally admitted it was his doing, just a couple of years ago, long after my mom passed away. Dana, why did you have to wait until you're an old geezer?
Oh, look. Dana and Nancy are helping Mommy by pulling weeds in the flower garden. No, that's wrong. Looking for a lost ball? Wrong again. Actually, Dana in his campaign to torture Nancy for some reason, has buried Nancy's dolls. Nancy told the phone operator it was an emergency at her home and the babies are missing. When the police arrived, Nancy tearfully told the police her brother Dana admitted he buried her dolls somewhere on the property. After digging most of them up, Dana had to do a month's time in the juvenile unit of the Niagara County Jail. Dana claimed his innocence and said he was just thinking of being a gravedigger when he grew up. A perfectly fine occupation.
Most children have a favorite color. Yellow was Nancy's and it seemed to be an obsession. Nancy was delighted that she could plan her own bedroom. This exclusive photo, obtained by our team of investigative reporters, shows her little bedroom in all its glory. Another talent of Nancy's was revealed when the family visited Olcott Beach Amusement Park one summer day. For 50 cents you could record your own song on a vinyl record. Her daddy asked if she would like to make a record to take home, and she exclaimed, "Grandpa, Daddy, I don't know what song." So she sang this little ditty. Now a cherished family heirloom. That is, until Dana used it as a frisbee, never to be seen again.
the hell is that? Where's the editor? I said no commercials, not even Crapco.
Childhood has its ups and downs, and one time, little Nancy stayed home from school with a cold and spent the day on the living room couch. Soon, her mother heard her cry out and ran to see what was terrifying the poor suffering child. "Happy is staring at me," she tearfully screamed. Our poor dog Happy, looking through the French doors, looked totally confused.
Little Nancy's first summer of love. As Nancy grew older, her hormones seemed to kick in that summer, and puppy love was just around the corner.
I was madly in love with Skip Dempsey. Mom and Dad made me break up with him. I had no idea what my big brother Dana was doing with Skip, and he didn't tell me the nasty facts until we both grew up and played Truth or Dare. But they were not in love.
I can't really talk about it, since I am suing the Inquirer, but just a week ago, that rag published an article about my first innocent love when I was a mere innocent child, so many summers ago. Wish me luck, I love you all.
Big brother Dana rode the school bus with Nancy for her very first day of school. In an exclusive interview with Nancy Bryan Kaplan, she had these words to say about going to kindergarten that day.
I hated school, and in kindergarten I wouldn't take my coat off because I wanted to go home right away. I don't know how long I did that. A couple of grades later, at Show and Tell, Lon McAdam brought his doll collection. Surprisingly, Lon wasn't gay, according to my little brother Terry. And now, a couple of years ago, Lon called me, much to my surprise.
Hello? Is this Nancy Bryan?
Yes.
You are hard to find girl. This is Lon McAdam, remember me?
Oh sure.
Well, I'm still not gay, so I want to get with you Missy, so we can do heterosexual stuff together.
Well, of all the nerve!
Nancy's big brother Dana loved the movies, and our Uncle Dyke lent him his 8mm movie camera so Dana could make his movies. He put Nancy and brother Terry in his epic called The Forbidden Jungle. In the film, Nancy gets captured by savage jungle natives, played by little Terry and his little pal Melvin from the farm across the road. For his next movie, Dana wanted to have an all-doll cast, like puppets. He asked Nancy for her dolls, but wanted only boy dolls, but Nancy didn't have any boy dolls. That pissed him off, since he had already made tiny jockstraps for the naked boy dolls. When Nancy reported this to her parents, they just looked at each other and rolled their eyes.
It's Dana we're worried about.
Mr. Bryan insists all that never happened, and it is fake news. Mr. Bryan.
Nancy happily claims she was the most popular girl in high school, but after we interviewed dozens of student alumni, not one former student in her classes could remember her. Miss Bryan does remember the home economics class where the girls competed to design the most alluring dresses for young women. Nancy proudly boasted her being given the 8th runner-up title and a complimentary spool of thread.
Nancy's teenage years got off to a rocky start. She was becoming quite the young beauty, but mother was quick to lay down the law. No dating boys until you are 18, she announced. Nancy decided that parents knew that teenagers are naturally rebellious, so she figured her desires were perfectly appropriate for her age. This next incident would bring trauma to both mother and daughter. This episode in Nancy the teenager's life was easy to find, since the traumatic event was in her local newspaper. It all started when Nancy went to her friend Jan Head's house after school to study. Nancy's mom, always concerned with her daughter's virginity, phoned Jan Head's home to check on her. Mrs. Head answered the phone and lied to Mrs. Bryan, saying the girls had dates and were not there, but she should try the Lockport Drive-In movie. This set off Mrs. Bryan's fragile nerves, and she called the newspaper and police to see if they could help. The paper immediately put out an extra with these results. Local Lockport woman worries about daughter. Fears a kidnapping or what am I doing? You can read this for yourself. Out loud if you like, or silently, while I rehearse an upcoming announcement.
I'm here at the Lockport Drive-In where they are showing their teen movie marathon. Church leaders have protested the inclusion of filthy movies like Beach Blanket Bingo and Gidget Goes Hawaiian that may seduce teenagers into premarital intercourse, and worse. The police are expected any moment and till I hear them now. This is Lucy Lips reporting, now back to our newsroom.
Thank you, Lucy. Now police have the license plate of the teen's automobile, so it should be quick work in finding the passionate and perverted perpetrators. Police have found the teen's automobile, but only 2 naked young men were in the car. They have been arrested for indecent exposure, and their names are being withheld due to their age. Nancy Bryan and Jan Head were not in the car, and after a call to Ms. Head's home, police confirmed both young girls had been there studying all night together.
The Lockport Union Sun and Journal sold more copies than ever thanks to this scandalous event and followed up with a special issue of the aftermath in the next day's issue. Why Mrs. Head made up the lie to Mrs. Bryan is still under investigation, and a lawsuit against Mrs. Head is in the works. Norma Bryan, Nancy's mother, ever the concerned, responsible, and friend of law enforcement, insisted on accompanying the police to the station where Mrs. Bryan took charge in interrogating the indecent young lawbreakers. After this traumatic incident, life went back to semi-normal for Nancy. But her mom never showed much compassion, and let's just say mother-daughter relationships can sometimes be a tangled web of emotions for both. And as Nancy matured into an adventurous young woman, she decided to go out into the world on her own to see where it takes her. Contacting her big brother Dana, now living in the decadent New York City, Nancy inquired if he would sell his little red Volkswagen and drive to California with her. Nancy did not know Dana was happy to rid himself of the car that was not meant for the big city, and besides, ever the predator, Dana figured there were new conquests waiting for him across America. He would be very much disappointed, but that is another story.
California, here I come. I'm coming right back where I started from. Where flowers bloom in the sun. They're blooming for you. And the birdies sing and everything a sun kiss. May says don't be late. That's why I can hardly wait. Just open up that golden gate. California, here I come.
Nancy quickly met new people who became friends, and was exploring the California lifestyle. Although it was a brief moment, Nancy found this new couple interesting.
Hello, My name is Robert Crumb, and this is my wife, Aileen. We're underground cartoonists.
On the surface, our life appears to be really quaint and charming.
Yes, doesn't it? But underneath, it's a steaming cauldron of sexual perversion, drugs, and twisted neurosis. Suddenly, when I was 25, after spending most of my life generally being ignored by most people in the world and being sort of a non-entity, suddenly all these people wanted to talk to me, and they thought I was like this interesting person, you know.
It wasn't long before her money ran out and she had to find a job fast. She experienced a number brief jobs, but she was saving her money. Her first job was awful and monotonous and paid very little. One of the factory workers, a cute Mexican foreman, told her about an opening at a ladies' salon and she got the job, because of her good looks. But she quit after the first day when the lady boss got a little too friendly, if you catch my drift. Next, the only work she could get, believe it or not, was as a sniffer for a men's deodorant company, and it really stunk. The boss fired her after her first hour. Finally, she was hired as a demonstrator for a commercial for a workout device shown here. The pay was really good, too, and filming the ad went well. Until Mr. Lechmore got all grabby with the women. So she grabbed her pay and fled. Nancy felt like just giving up. One day a nun approached her for a donation, and Nancy burst into tears. The nun, Sister Benedicta, comforted her, as nuns are apt to do, and gave Nancy the solution. Sister Benny, as she was called, convinced Nancy that becoming a nun was a good gig. You get no pay, she said, but free rent, free food, a roof over your head, and even romance, if you're so inclined. It's the best thing for you at this point in your life, honey.
After much introspection, Nancy gave in to her apparent fate and took her vows and entered the convent, hoping for the best.
I felt better that first day at St. Serenity's College for Superior Nuns. But after a week of silence, eating the donated food from the local Burger King, praying in silence, scrubbing floors, and being alone and bored in silence, I kept repeating over and over in my head, from the frying pan and into the fire. I had not found the solution for my life's journey, and there was a clause in my contract that said I could not leave for the first 30 years. But God answered my prayers when a delivery boy from Church Candles R Us, named David, helped me escape this hell. Disguised as Sister Edie, we walked through the gardens and climbed over the wall to freedom, even avoiding the barbed wire for the most part.
After her rescue, how could Nancy not fall in love with David, the Candles R Us, delivery boy and hero? They wasted no time and immediately married and vowed to live happily ever after.
Let's celebrate their new life together in Northern California, in a beautiful home among the redwoods. Soon, Nancy's creative instincts gave her an idea that would make her famous and give beauty to the entire world.
As little kids, their mom showed Nancy and her brothers how to tie-dye fabrics in beautiful colors. Nancy began creating brilliant tie-dye works of art, and soon the world would notice. The rest is history.
Life would only get better with the birth of Tara. And as Sweet Tara grew, she revealed a creative talent she inherited from her loving parents. The birth of their little boy, Christopher, would complete the happy and talented family.
Well, as you can see, the pool is deserted. All the swimmers had to get out because we're... Made you look.
Hey, what happened? What's going on? You stopped the film.
Pardon the interruption, but it is looking like the film is getting toward the end. We thought at this point you might want to review the feature, and maybe add some scenes you may have left out of Miss Bryan's life story. Also, do you feel that everything you have shown is factual and true?
Yeah, everything was true. It better be true and correct. I mean, I had a low budget, but still, I had to pay Crapco to hire the best investigative team, and if anything was not true, you can't blame me, see, because I hired an investigative team to get all the facts straight. As far as I know, everything shown in this documentary is absolutely true, okay? Yes. Did I leave anything out? Let me think. I grew up with Nancy, so I remember everything. And, oh, I know one thing. She took piano lessons for a while. And, oh, she wrote this composition for piano called, Here We Go Up the Road to the Birthday Party. That was great. And what else? Well, she's very careful with money. She still has that first nickel Daddy gave her. And what else? Oh, I know. Oh, she loved corn on the cob. That was her favorite. And I don't know if she still does, but anyways, I hope Nancy doesn't blame me if there's anything she doesn't approve of in this film. But, as I said, it's not my fault, okay?
Well, knowing Nancy, and Nancy having grown up with you, and knowing you, she will probably forgive you for any untrue or made-up things about her life, and the overwhelming amount of events in her life you have left out. Well, I'm sure you will hear from your sister, one way or another. Okay, let's see the rest of your documentary.
When Nancy bought their house from sales of her tie-dye empire, she had no idea how gigantic the young redwood trees would grow to be. Now, they have to use a ladder to enter and leave the house, but a very happy life now would make the inconvenience all worthwhile. And your apologetic brother sends you all his love.